very pleased to be joined with Mrs. Jennie Wolk. Hello, Jennie.
Hey, Dan. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So I am so excited for this conversation today because you are somebody that I would describe, I don't know you well, yet from what I know of you, my perception of you is, I would say, hard charging. Would that be an accurate perception?
I haven't always been hard charging. I only have become this way over years of, time on the task over time and getting, consistent, and then hanging out with people that go really fast also helps a lot.
That's good. That's good. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Jennie. So you're a real estate sales agent, right?
I am. I've been in real estate for 19 years now, and I have a small team here in Tulsa. Last year, there's 6 of us now. Last year, there were 4 of us, and we helped 145 families. And I have to give total props to my team because they've really allowed me to do what I love, and I've grown into discovering my passion, which is sharing and training and teaching and empowering real estate agents, which they allow me to do. And they're the ones on the ground with the buyers and the sellers and doing most of the sales. So I have an amazing team, that just help me out to be able that I get to do this fun stuff and then bring in business for them to nurture and love on. And we've had a great time. We help lots of families here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Did I tell you our numbers? Last year we helped 145 families. 50% of that comes from our database, our Sphere, our past clients, repeat referral business, as well as then 30% of our business comes from our agent database, so agent referrals. So I know that our topic here was all about database, and if you look at our business, 80% of our business comes from purposeful touches to our database.
All right, we'll talk more about that. But before we do so, the 20%, where does that come from? That's sort of like hit and miss type thing?
Yeah, that's just all the other stuff thrown in.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so database. So you're loving and touching on your database, whether that be agents or Sphere. How do you do that? Tell us more about that.
Oh gosh, well, there's this book. It's red, and it's called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and maybe you guys have heard of this before. But this is where
see, look, we're twins. We have it bound the same way. This is like the instructor's one right here.
Well, and mine is all discolored and highlighted, and you can tell a good business whenever you see the MREA of the leader, right? That means that
Jennie, I just realized the insult that I just gave to you when I called us twins. So my apologies to you.
Hey, we can be twins when it comes to
all right.
Really buying into the tools that already exist for us. So that's, cool. That's all that we've really ever done. I am not a super smart or, enlightened person other than just doing what others have done before me. And so I'm going to just follow all of the successful people. I'm a fan of Gary Keller and all of his books, and I just literally do what they tell me to do. And when I got really purposeful about going back to pages 133 through 149, the lead generation model, and read and reread and applied the 8x8, the 33 touch into my business, that made all the difference in the world. And then I'll tell you, the even bigger kicker that really made an impact on my business was when I took this class called Bold, and I actually called the people,
fantastic.
I'd have all these touches, but then I wouldn't make the phone calls. And so now we know that that's the really
the key to the success of those systems is the phone calls. And I agree with you. Let's backtrack just a second for those that may not understand some of the lingo there. So Bold, Business Objective Life by Design, that's a class, and I'll ask you to share about what that is here in a moment. 8x8, purpose to get mind share. So tell us, what's an 8x8 and what's a 33 touch?
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of this conversation is that you must have a database. So you can use different tools and technologies, a place where all of your data is stored for all your people. And then those words are simply phrases to know to gain mind share, meaning that you're going to systematically stay in touch with them. And so by doing that, so the 8x8 idea, now things have tweaked and adjusted nowadays. We've got our new command and technology stuff that can auto apply some of these touches. The whole idea is to get in touch with them fast, and then they get put onto a system that's going to make sure you don't forget. If you guys have been in real estate a long time like me, you know that people come into your world and you're so excited to help them, and then you forget about them. You wake up in the middle of the night, you're like, oh my gosh, what happened to them? Well, that's what a database is for. It's a way to manage your people that adds data. You insert notes, you know what's going on with them, and you have reminders.
Fantastic. So 8x8 gets mind share, and then a 33 touch systematically stays in touch with that mind share while you're contributing to them and adding value to their lives, and doing so in a system.
Yep.
All right. And so then you mentioned a class that's called Bold, which I know you are an 17-time graduate.
Yeah.
Currently taking your 18th.
Yep.
And kudos to you. I am currently taking my 11th. So I'm far behind. I'll catch up to you never. But tell us, what is Bold?
Well, like you said, BOLD stands for Business Objective Life by Design. And I first took it in 2010. It sounds like you started back in those days as well. And for me, what it really did, it was this 8-week, now it's a 7-week class. And now it's a pivoted class and adjusting to this online virtual world right now through the month of May. It's just a way, what BOLD did for me, people think it's a sales class, and it is kind of, and it's a mindset class. So for me, that's what I needed back then. I am a mother. My daughter's 12 and a half now. When I first took BOLD, she was 3.5 years old, and juggling that work-life balance that we know doesn't really exist was quite a struggle for me. And so that's what BOLD helped me with, was get real clear on my goals and visualizing a big life and putting into action steps that I could take to achieve it. So I went from back then 23 units as a single agent to taking BOLD, nothing else changed, to 51 units as a single agent. So clearly, doubling your production in 1 year by changing your mindset and having tools and getting into activity and calling people.
That's the key ingredient there, right? So 51 transactions, what year in business was that around?
Yeah, that would have been in 2011.
Okay, so at that point, you would have been about 8 years in the business, 7 years, something like that? Okay, and so did you have an assistant?
Not then.
Okay, so tell us, and I know we'll go back to database, but this is, I think this is useful. When did you hire your first assistant? So you're 51 units, you're probably not sleeping at this point. Would that be inaccurate?
That's
right. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly right. Any agent that does that by themselves knows that you're burning it at both ends, and it's really painful. Well, I'll tell you what I did do and what I didn't do. And what I didn't do was do it right. So if you are an agent and you ever think that you're going to get busier than you think and you need help, go ahead and start taking the classes now, career visioning or any other kind of training and hiring and leadership type classes now, because I didn't, and I was a mess. I hired out of necessity. I didn't do it right. So I had great people that came into my world that helped me, and it definitely eased some of the pain. And in hindsight, I wasn't a great leader. I didn't hold them accountable. It was all me. So, I heard Gene Rivers say one time, when people don't work out on your team, there's 3 reasons why. They weren't the right hire in the first place. You didn't hold them. You didn't train them properly. They didn't get trained properly, or they weren't held accountable. And all 3 of those are my fault as the leader.
Yeah, so you either didn't hire correctly or you didn't lead correctly.
Yeah.
You say that. Yeah. So, and really, leadership, it really encompasses all 3 of those activities, in my opinion.
It does.
So hiring,
So over time, just with the whole team building piece, that would be a whole day long, week long, long class. But it's really just the preparing and planning and thinking big, because I never thought big. So I didn't know that I'd need people in the future, because I hadn't even visualized that. And so, I failed forward, as we call it. I failed all over the place. And that's how I learned what not to do.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Trust me. So 51 transactions, was that around the time that you hired your first assistant, like sort of at the tail end of that, or did you go a longer time?
No, it was pretty soon. It was in that following year of getting busier than I'd ever been that, I started just bringing people in to help me.
I recently wrote the book, Real Estate Evolution, the 10-Step Guide to CPI, Consistent and Predictable Income for Real Estate Agents. I wrote this book because I have sold real estate since 2007 and developed an immense amount of experience and knowledge. During my journey, I've witnessed hundreds and maybe even thousands of real estate agents fail in this business, and I firmly believe that that's a shame. In Real Estate Evolution, I will show you the exact steps that I have used as a real estate salesperson to sell 1 to 15 homes every single month for the past 129 consecutive months. It took me more than 2 decades to learn the sales and persuasion techniques, and more than 1 decade to master the real estate sales techniques to be able to produce the content that makes up this book. And it took me more than a year to write at a pace of 3 hours every single day. If you're a real estate agent and you're looking for consistent and predictable income in your business, I invite you to get the book, Real Estate Evolution, and you can get that by visiting www.therealestateevolution.com, and I'll even give it to you for free as long as you pay for the postage.
And was your first hire, did you follow the book? Was it an assistant? Was it a buyer's agent?
It was a friend who was in the role of assistant, but she wasn't the right behavioral style to be an assistant. So it eased a little bit of the pain, but still I, was still doing all the work because I was more of a detail person than she was. So, but later on, she did move into the buyer agent role, which was better for her. So
good. Yeah. All right. So let's fast forward. So today you say that you're getting 80% of your business is coming. A piece of that's from your sphere, from agents, and then what was the second piece of that?
Yeah, so our sphere is 50%, 30% are agents or agent referral.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not getting really. I mean, you are in that 20%, but a lot of you're not like banging out expires or for sale by owners or door knocking. It's all pretty much warm leads coming in. Is that understood? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got it. All right. So then let's talk about your system, your 33 or 36 touch, or so how many people are in a systematic manner to be able to communicate with? How many people do you have in there?
We call them METs in our current database, and we tag them as a MET, and there are about 1,800.
1,800. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so how long would you say that you've had 1,800 in there as a MET?
Oh, that's a great question, because if we know from what Gary Keller tells us in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent that the number of METs in your database will determine the number of families and transactions that you'll have in a year. And so when I realized that, I realized the importance of getting more METs in our database, and we've started, now I track that every single week. It's one of my indicators that I'm looking at.
Sure.
So we just got purposeful about building our database and really properly categorizing our database over the past few years.
Yeah.
So that's what.
So
yeah.
Would you say so? There's two, like in the book that you held up earlier. It's what they say is that the return is going to be a 12 to 2. So for every 144 people in your database, you're going to get 2 transactions. One's going to be a referral to you, and one's going to be the actual person. The revision of what is out there right now is a 10% return. So right. It seems as though it's a little bit less of a return than when the book was originally written.
Yeah.
So at 10%, which you're a little bit less than that, but I'm assuming that your database is increasing. So do you feel like you're hitting about 10% or a little bit off of that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, actually, yeah. So, the goal would be that this year, our goal this year is 185 families. So that
would be, yeah.
So that's where we've been striving for at the beginning of this year, and we're there. And I have a really smart maps coach, and he says, all right, now we don't stop there. We go ahead and start building the database for next year's goal. So now Yeah, so I just thought, well, isn't that smart? So actually, I went ahead and upped our Met goal this year to be 2196 of Met.
Okay, 2196. So you want to do
200.
was that how many 220 transactions?
Yeah.
All right, the 196. Just if you would have said 2200, I would have been like, So why 2196? What's important about that number?
I think
Instead of 2200.
I think that how we worked it out was just basing it on year over year growth that we've had as a team.
Got it.
And that's where that number had come from. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. And so now so tell us about so that's how many people are in the database, and you're getting a really good return on that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're growing that because because you're a really smart woman that follows a really smart coach, right?
Yep.
Seems like that's your superpower. And so how are you communicating with that database? What specific things are you doing?
Well, that's a great question. We always are wanting to pour into our database because we know that that's all that really matters to us. And so we set up our year, this 2020 was based on having 5 client events. Let me put my hand in the box there. 5 client events. I can't find where I am. And so we built our whole plan and marketing and call days and reverse bold 100 call-in days and giveaways. We built all of that around 5 client events for this year. And then we got this COVID. And so we've had to tweak our plan. And so, we, a couple weeks ago, we were supposed to have our big baseball event here. That's normally our biggest client event where we all meet out at the baseball game. We have a good old time. And that didn't happen, obviously. So we just tweaked it and we said, okay, well, we have a sponsor, this vendor partner lender who was going to pitch in money anyway. So we just said, hey, would you be willing to donate money and we'll still do it. We'll do a giveaway. And so we just switched it to be basically, have you heard of a reverse bold 100? Have you heard of this?
I have. In fact, I'm doing one tomorrow.
Good. Yeah, right. You told me about that. Okay, good. So what we did was we're like, okay, well, he donated $500.
Well, hold on, Jenny. Let's go back because others have not heard what a bold 100 or reverse 100 is. Sorry to interrupt you, but tell us what that is.
All right. So the fun idea is with a reverse bold one. If you've taken bold before, then you know that a bold 100 is getting in 100 conversations, two-way conversations with people, 100 of them in a day. And the fun about a reverse bold 100 is how about instead we do something that gets 100 people to call us inside of a day. I think that sounds more fun, just saying. They actually want to talk to us. And so this was our 3rd that we did, and they've gotten better and better every time. And the whole idea and the number one thing to know is that you have to have a big enough draw, like a big enough giveaway, a big enough gift that people will pick up the phone and call you. Because if it's just something they don't care about, then they're not going to call. And
what's an example?
Well, we did the $500 gift cards, and we gave away different levels of gift cards to local restaurants because that was a way for us to give back. Now, I've heard that the Dyson hair dryer, some friends are doing that one right now. You need that.
I don't.
I have one.
There you go.
But the Dyson hair dryer is pretty pricey for a hair dryer, and if you've ever used one, you know that they're amazing. And for Mother's Day. And then for Father's Day, we're going to do another one. We're going to do a small, big green egg. And you just have to, it's probably at least got to be a $500 gift, to be honest.
Got it.
Something that they just can't go pick up for themselves. And then you time block the day, you market it in advance, 2 weeks in advance, you start the prep and the marketing for it. You're sending out videos, you're sending out emails, you're putting on your social media, and you're just promoting this event so that people will call you. Now, the fun part gets to be where the phones start ringing. And so this is fun for those that are going to do this, because you should be doing one. We just got on Zoom as a team because we're all at our own home offices. So we just had Zoom pulled up. We had, we were on mute, or we were not on mute, just whatever was going on. And we had the call number was our Google number. So people would call into our Google number and it would ring to different. Yeah. And so we were able to communicate as a team. Like if one call slipped through to a voicemail, then we could type in the chat box, hey, call this person. And it was so much fun. We ended up getting, unfortunately, we are just not getting quite to that 100 contacts yet. However, I think we got in 58 contacts and 9 referrals, and that's not a bad day.
9 referrals is a fantastic day.
Right?
I'll take it, right?
Well, the other point of this reverse bold 100, though, is besides having people talk to you, you're going to validate and verify their contact info. So, Dan, maybe you were an old web lead that just happens to be in our database, and we only had your email address.
Rochon. I recently wrote the book, Real Estate Evolution, the 10-Step Guide to CPI, Consistent and Predictable Income for Real Estate Agents. I wrote this book because I have sold real estate since 2007 and developed an immense amount of experience and knowledge. During my journey, I've witnessed hundreds and maybe even thousands of real estate agents fail in this business. And I firmly believe that that's a shame. In Real Estate Evolution, I will show you the exact steps that I have used as a real estate salesperson to sell 1 to 15 homes every single month for the past 129 consecutive months. It took me more than 2 decades to learn the sales and persuasion techniques, and more than 1 decade to master the real estate sales techniques to be able to produce the content that makes up this book. And it took me more than a year to write at a pace of 3 hours every single day. If you're a real estate agent and you're looking for consistent and predictable income in your business, I invite you to get the book, Real Estate Evolution, and you can get that by visiting www.therealestateevolution.com, and I'll even give it to you for free as long as you pay for the postage.
But you got our email, so you call in. So now we're going to get your name, your phone number, your email, and your home address before I'm going to let you be registered into the contest.
Got it.
And then the way that you're getting a referral is because you say, oh, Dan, and by the way, thank you for confirming all your info. And if you happen to know somebody that needs to buy or sell a home, I can put you in the drawing twice.
Okay.
That's the kicker right there.
Love it. Love it. 2 entries to win.
Yeah.
So go back 58 on the last bold reverse 100. That was your third one. What was the difference between the first and the third?
I think that's really important to note that every one we've done, we've gotten better and better at it. We've worked through the systems. So the first one, I definitely didn't have enough marketing time in advance, and we got like 29 calls and 5 referrals. I think we got 35 calls and 7 referrals.
Okay.
And what's funny that I note, what I say funny a lot today, sorry. What I'm noticing is that there are people that have called in that we will look them up in the database, and we're like, oh my gosh, they were a web lead from 3 years ago. They've never responded to us ever. Another one was—
They want that green egg.
Yeah. But another one was she actually had ended up buying a house with another agent. She called in and she referred a friend of hers.
That's fantastic.
So the other agents aren't doing this. So
yeah,
you might
that's clear.
capture more people and yeah.
All right. Between the first, besides the time of marketing, was there anything else that you did differently in that time period to increase?
Yeah, I think the other thing was definitely more marketing time, more promotion, and then even in social media, because there we want to gather people we don't know. We want to unmets.
Yeah.
And the other efficiency tool that I'll share is just as a team, everyone had a Google form. So you just had your computer pulled up and either on your, so you just filled out the info on the Google form. It sends it right to a sheet. So all the team members are being really efficient and everything's captured.
Cool. Okay. So thank you for sharing that with us, Jennie. So that's been you've made that change because of the quarantine, and you were doing 5 appreciation events. One was a baseball game. What were the other 4? Or what are the other 4?
Yeah, I'll see if I can remember them now. So we do a Valentine's Day date night where they come to the office and they RSVP and they come in for a pie. And so we've done it as a pie day for March 14th, 3.14, and they would come into the office and get their pie. And this year it fell on a Saturday. So instead we just switched it to Valentine's Day. So we called it a date night. Even the whole thing about our events is we want them to come to us. So I see so many agents out there wanting to go do pop buys, and that's a great idea. But when you get to
inefficient,
when you get to a certain scale, you need them to come to you. So we do a pizza pie day. We did the baseball game. We do a movie event in the summer because it's really hot here. And so we keep people inside. We did Lion King last year. It was a blast. That was our first movie event. And I have some tips on that. We had a great time beforehand with face painters and balloon artists and treats for the kids. And then you go and you sit in the movie theater for 2 hours. Then we didn't have an exit plan. So next time we'll know to have some kind of strategy.
Like a little giveaway or something. Yeah.
Some kind of like little swag bag on the way out to say thank you. And then we also always do a pie day with Thanksgiving, the Sunday before Thanksgiving. And that's always a hit. You know, they come in, they get cookies and hot tea and cider, and they pick up their Thanksgiving pie. Always a big hit. See, here's the thing: it's like none of our events are super creative. Everybody's done them before, but nobody does them in my city. Nobody does them in your city. And the last one that we do, the last one that we do is a Santa event for our core advocates, their family. Yeah.
So, of those 5 events, is there one that produces greater results than another?
You know, we really mix them up to be different levels of engagement and different audiences. So of course, you know, I'm the oldest on my team, but so my agents have younger children. So
you must have a really young team.
I do. They're young. They've got energy, and I love it. And so so that's kind of the age group of our database for some, but then we have older clients as well. So we just want to really touch on all that, you know, that's why like a date night, come pick up a pizza and get a hug. You know, we're not going to be hugging anytime soon, darn it.
Virtual hugs.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Jennie, so that's the appreciation event.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned phone calls. Is that 4 times a year, or is that a good guess for that, or?
Yeah, it totally is. And, you know, it's great because this is why I also probably take Bold so many times, is because it makes us get back into action and our database with all of this quarantine. We've been care calling our database. We're just taking a letter of the alphabet, and you know, as soon as one person is done, the next person is calling. We've attempted to do the database too many times, which is a system inside of Bold of making sure that you talk to your people. So whatever your system is, you got to call them somehow. I mean, I call through people and I don't know who they are. They don't know who I am. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, as long as I'm being a kind person that's asking how they're doing is all that really matters. And then,
I think, go ahead.
And then the other thing I'll just say is the other main touch that we do are videos. So we send video emails, 2 of those a month. So those go out.
Are you using Viral with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. VYRAL is Viral if you're interested. Okay. So you're doing all those touches. Are you mailing anything to them? Any other touches?
You know, we do send a physical invitation to our client events.
Got it. Okay.
So that at least all of our Mets are getting something physical in the mail from us. And then of course we send football magnet because football is really big in Oklahoma. And then we send a calendar magnet at the end of the year, because I'll tell you, I've been in business for 19 years and people like refrigerator magnets. And they keep them on their fridge forever. So just know that.
I do sometimes joke, though, Jennie, that my favorite thing in the entire planet is when I'm taking a listing and I see all those real estate. I want to take a selfie
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
No, I totally agree. Well, and on the same side of that, if you've been great, okay,
Yeah.
so here's the difference. Those agents,
They're not doing what you're doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're sending a magnet, and that's it. That's the difference.
Yeah.
The magnet's not going to get you the business. The
Yeah.
other stuff is what's going to make it work, right? Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. I'll get a call from a client that I look through the database and I can see my notes, left voicemail, sent email, sent text, and I never got a response. Then 8 years later, hey, come list me. I go to the house. The football magnet from 3 seasons ago is still on the fridge. So
Awesome.
that's the reminder for everyone that ever watches this, is that they may not respond to you. They still hear you and they still see you. And so don't stop being consistent and persistent, because when they're ready, they will appear.
Yeah, and one of the things is there's more people that will watch this video than what you or I would ever know, right? Because it's it reaches. Now, obviously, we could track how many views there are and that type of thing, right? But your voice today with social media and everything reaches so much further. It just can amplify than what you could previously.
Yeah, well, that's true, Dan, because you'll make social media posts or you'll say things and you'd never know that person has viewed you by scrolling. Yeah. And then you run into them in real life and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm keeping up with you. I know everything going on in your life. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Jennie, thank you so much. I mean, this is awesome. And I think that you really shared some real actionable information that people could take action on. So if you're watching this, listen to what Jennie just said, listen to it again, listen to it again, listen to it again, and do what the heck she says, because it definitely works.
Do it.
How can we get in touch with you, Jennie? And what's a good referral for you?
Yeah, the best way that you can honestly get in touch with me is I have a closed Facebook group that is just for real estate agents, and it's called Your Journey with Jennie, JENNIE. That's where I share all of the systems, tools, tricks, videos, everything we do in our business, and then I borrow and steal from all my other smart real estate friends and share their stuff too. So that's the best way.
Fantastic. All right. And you're probably watching this on Rock Solid Agent Facebook group. And I really appreciate you, Jennie, for joining us today. And give you every single referral in the entire state of Oklahoma. You probably can't serve all of Oklahoma, but at least Tulsa.
You got it. I'll pass it on to friends who can help you. So thanks, Dan. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Give us a thumbs up by clicking the like button below. Don't forget to subscribe to Get Rock Solid Coaching Channel and stay ahead of the game.